And I mean, I suppose it's a bit of a cliche, but apparently, every company is a software company now. So I guess this kind of thing's more important. And I'm thinking perhaps the speed to, I mean, clearly there's lots of benefits, but speed to market must be a massive part, in the sense, whether it's during the pandemic, I'm thinking the supermarkets were rushing to deal with online. Maybe they had to develop a new app, and whoever got there first, cornered the market for the customer. That kind of thing. So speed to market, this is one of the crucial parts of that. Yeah.
Well, clear, that's absolutely the case. And, the whole notion of being agile, to being able to adapt to a customer request or a market change or a pandemic, and where you were building one thing, now you're building something else, or you're building it fast, whatever the case is, you absolutely have to be able to respond and deliver quickly. That's been one of the big benefits of moving to Agile and DevOps, and now ultimately tying that together with value stream management, is the ability to iterate more quickly, get software out to customers more quickly, and ultimately value for them much, much more quickly. And sometimes it isn't just about how fast you can do it. It's I had talked to a customer that it was like, we don't obsess over how long it takes or let's get it faster. We obsess over making sure we deliver the software when we said we would. So it's more about being predictable as far as your customers are concerned, so that they can rely on a cadence of updates. It's like, if you get random updates on your computer and you're in the middle of getting ready for a Zoom call. This happened to me this morning. I walked in here I always look, 15, 20 minutes ahead of time, and my computer had reset overnight. It had installed all sorts of new goodies, and it was off. And I turned it on, and it says, okay, well, that'll only take me about 10 more minutes to, finish the install. I'm like, oh my God, imagine if I'd have done that 5 minutes ahead. Now, I bring that up because it's the notion. It's not all that different than a customer getting a release when they weren't expecting it. You want to be consistent with your delivery so that customers can rely on a common set of parameters as far as how they're working with you. Otherwise, it gets to be a nightmare. I think that's a huge issue, and that's actually going to change the face of what metrics we keep. Because velocity and throughput are a big part of the DevOps metrics, but maybe it's going to be value optimization, and that has a lot to do with when I delivered software. Give you an example, and it's an example I love. If I was at a trade show and I were to ask how many people use Venmo for peer-to-peer banking, if I want to send you, $25 for the drinks we had last night or whatever the case may be, I use Venmo. How many people use Venmo? Probably everybody in the audience is going to say, oh yeah, I'd use it. How many people use Zelle? Now, Zelle is the Venmo equivalent developed by the large banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase. They all use Zelle. Zelle came out 10 years after Venmo was incorporated. I would say they've lost that market. Or they're going to have to struggle real hard to capture, or maybe even buy Venmo to work their way in. Nobody's really using Zelle very much. They're all using Venmo, and that's a time to market. Now Venmo has a credit card you can buy that can pull down on the funds that are in the Venmo repository, money repository. It sounds a lot like a bank to me. And so you have a startup that's built a bank, and so is the value of being a software company, is the value to the corporation of becoming better at delivering software a matter of cost containment and margin? A lot of people look at it and they go, what's the ROI of going down a path of value stream management? And that's a legitimate question. It's not an unreasonable thing to ask. And it will save you time, and it will make you more efficient, and it will take cost out of the process. But let's not forget what I think is the more profound benefit of value stream management, which is the ability to ensure that you can maintain your competitive edge. Had the banks been able to respond more quickly to Venmo, there might be a completely different world relative to peer-to-peer banking than there is today. And the value of that to the bank isn't about cost control. It's about market opportunity. It's about It's about the money they would make on the transactions associated with that kind of a banking feature, which now is the domain of someone else, third party. So every company is a software company, and that's trite. And Mark Andreessen said software's eating the world, many years ago. And I think all that's true, and we laugh and yeah, but it's so true. In this pandemic, in the neighborhood I'm in, there's food trucks. Everybody knows food trucks. Well, they were having a terrible time with orders. They were getting inundated. They'd come park in a neighborhood and people would all just jam. So they had to come up with an online ordering system. So we've got 3 guys in a truck building an app for online ordering, connecting into their financial transaction systems. Everybody's doing it, whether it's a farmer in a food truck or Bank of America. It's a requirement to really understand the value your customers need, to increase their delighted attitude when they work with you, their positive feeling about your brand. That's all critical, and it's software driven. And if you're not good at it, you're going to fail. And value stream management brings together and harnesses the power of agile development capabilities and techniques, and DevOps execution, delivery, and deployment capabilities, as well as the post-production monitoring to understand how customers are using it. Did it work? I mean, that's what CIOs want to know. I spent millions of dollars on all this cool DevOps stuff. Did it work? Did our customer satisfaction scores go up? Did our revenue go up? Did our costs go down? Did our vendor costs go down? What's happened? Are you making progress? That's what they need to know. You need to be able to answer that. So you have to be able to reach into the post-production, into the ITSM world, into the ServiceNow, the Remedy kinds of worlds to say, how'd it work? What's going on? And it's from that you get how long it takes your company to fix things that break. The MTTR, if you will, the mean time to repair, really important from a customer satisfaction point of view. How long do you want to wait for your system to be fixed? Not very long. So value stream management doesn't just end at the release of the software. It maintains a vigilance on the value that the customer is consuming from your company and ensures that that's constantly getting better. And feeding that back into development as to where things could be done better, where features could be added, where usability could be improved, in order to raise the satisfaction, increase the loyalty, and ultimately the value being delivered to the customer. That's what value stream management ultimately does, is it keeps an eye on the value being delivered to the customer and ensures that it's always improving and not declining. Because if the latter occurs, you're on a slow road to failure.